Hi everyone, welcome. Welcome to EdTech with jReb. I'm Javier Ravagliati, and I'm here to share with you a bit about mastering Google Slides. Before we get started, I want to remind you that you can leave your questions in the chat, and I will get to them in the end if we have time, and I'll try to answer them. If you'd like to connect with me, besides this webinar, you can follow me on Twitter. Here's my handle. You can follow me there. Or you can also go to my website, jreb.me, where I show you a couple of ways in which I share how I can help you get smarter interactions with technology in education. So let's get started. Let me just share my screen. And we'll get started. Okay, so I've built this not necessarily a nice looking presentation, just as a test where we are going to try out the different things I want to share with you. So first thing I want to share is how to import slides. Sometimes we have different presentations that we want to combine some way, and importing slides is an easy way to get the slides you have in a different presentation, bring it to the presentation you're working on. So you're going to go to File, and the third option, just there, Import Slides. From there, you can browse your whole Google Drive or even see what has been shared with me. So I'm gonna use this one. It's a presentation for a conference I did a few months ago. And we're going to be able to see all the slides from that presentation. And I can scroll down and I can pick and choose what is it that I want to import. So as you can see, I've selected 3 different slides that are not consecutive, and I will click on Import Slides. I can also select all slides here at the top with this button, or if I want to change my selection, I can just click on Clear and select different slides. So to import them, I will select this button. I will click Import Slides. But there's an option here at the bottom, Keep Original Theme, that you have to choose if you want to keep the original design those slides have, or you want to import the content but apply the theme of the presentation you're working on. So let's do both. I'm just gonna import one, let's say this one, and I'm gonna keep original theme. So when I import that, you'll see that that slide looks exactly as it was in the presentation, in the original presentation where it's from. The font is the font that was used in that presentation. The colors are the ones that were used in that presentation. Let's look at the other option. What happens if I don't check that box, keep original theme? Let me choose this one here. Let's see. This one. If I uncheck the box, keep original theme, when I import that slide, you can see how the font has changed, the background has changed, everything has changed and moved around because I didn't keep the original theme. Now, that depends on what you want to do. Like, if, for example, what I wanted was just to copy and paste the content, the text, the images, etc., onto a slide with this present theme, you can do it like so, and you can then just adjust what is it that you want to keep, right? So, for example, if I were to keep this one, I would probably, I don't know, give another background for that box, and maybe make this a bit bigger so it covers a bit of that background that I don't want. Maybe you see this my Twitter handle was on a grayish color, so against a white background it doesn't it can be red, so I would probably change the color of the font and so forth. But on the previous one, since for this one I clicked on the checkbox that said keep original theme, nothing was changed and it looks exactly as it did in the previous presentation. So now let's go to what happens. There are other ways where you can include slides from different presentations. So let me switch to that presentation I mentioned before, but actually open it. So I have opened this other presentation, and let's say I want to copy this slide. So I would go to the film strip, which is this vertical space on the left side. I would select one or more slides if I want to. Like you see how that little blue border appears. That means those are selected. I'm only going to select this one. I'm going to Control C or Command C if you're in a Mac. And I'm going to go to my target presentation, which is this one, right? And while on the film strip, I'm going to press Control V or Command V so that I can paste that slide, that original slide. Now, here we have the same issue. By default, you can see how it would look like if the slide doesn't keep its original theme. So that's why you get this dialog box here on the right side. It's asking what you want. Do you want this slide to match the styles in this presentation, which would change the colors, change the background, etc., and make it look as you see it right now? You can keep original styles, which would be like the example with this slide with the girl in the books, which maintain the colors, the original colors from the presentation where it was took from. Or, and this is the interesting thing, you can link and keep original styles. What happens when you do this? When you do this, not only you keep the original colors, font, backgrounds, etc., but this slide, it's actually linked to the original presentation where it's from. So yes, I can still make changes here, okay, that won't affect the original presentation. So if you want to see here, nothing happened. This is the original presentation. This text gibberish that I typed, it's not there. So I'm going back to my target one. You can see it's still there. But on the top right of the slide, you have this little menu where you can get directly to the source. Imagine like tomorrow you come back to this presentation and you are having trouble on finding the original presentation where this slide came from. You can quickly come here on the three-dot menu, click on Open Source, and it will open the presentation we were just in. So let's say the change happens the other way around. What happens if I go to the original presentation, which is this one, and I change something? Let's say I'm gonna just add a word here and maybe change the format, and then maybe this title, I'm gonna change the color. I'm gonna do whatever just for the sake of the example. Now I'm going back to my original target. You see in the film strip the slides that we saw earlier, and now the top right button has changed and it says update, which means I can revert the changes I made to this slide, like the gibberish text that I inputted here. And also, I can get the up-to-date version of that slide on the original presentation. You get where I'm going? So now that I click on update, I can see the new color of the title, this new word here, and the fact that I put it in italics. So any change that happens in the original slide, since this is a linked slide, will be kept up to date, but it has to be manually. Whenever there is a change, you can reflect it here too. So let's go to our next topic, which is internal links. Google Slides is a visual platform, right? Made initially for presentations, but there are many other ways to use it, not only for when presenting to an audience. So one of the, I think, advanced feature it has is the capacity to link to an internal place. What do I mean by that? You can link from a slide. Of course, you can link to whatever website you want, right? And you also know that you can link to documents, for example, right? And you will see the links right there. But what happens if I want to point to another slide? I can't do that. So let me show you how. I was pressing Command K or Control K to pull up the link box. And these two first options are the interesting ones. You can have a link to direct you to the next slide, the first slide. You can also go to a specific slide number. So I can say slide 6, for example, and select here. And this becomes a link to slide 6. Let's try another one. So let's go for, didn't select it. Let's go for first slide. So this will be for the first slide. And you see what happens there. Since I'm using first slide, or it also happens when I use next slide or previous slide or last slide, it doesn't matter if I change the order of the slides, because the link is to whatever is the first slide. So if I would click here, I would go to my first slide, which is this one, right? So let's find it again and try another one, which, let's see, could be last or next slide. And you can see here, next slide. You click it and the link is then. And what's so useful about this? That when you are presenting, you can go directly to the slide you want. And this becomes very helpful. Oops. Okay, let me go back to here. This becomes very helpful to create some specific types of Google Slides presentation, which there's one that has been very popular among teachers for a long time now, which is choose your own adventure type of slides, where you can have different, like you can have a story where the player or whoever has opened the presentation is looking at different options. Like they can choose different options on how to advance the story. Let me show you real quick one example about that, about exactly that. So this is, let me see if it's there. Yes. Okay, this one is an example of a choose your own adventure type of Google Slides presentation. So if I were And these are meant to be on, they're meant to be seen in percent mode, okay? So that the links work and there is no, that you take the path as a viewer, you take the path that was intended by the creator of the presentation, right? So let me show you. Let me show you how it looks like here, just so that it presents correctly. Okay, so trip to California. This is an example I got online. Apparently, it was made by 2 students. So there's the start of the story, complications for the character, and you have these 2 links. See, take the medicine, leave the medicine. So you can make a choice. I click take the medicine, and you have a little snippet of the story related to the choice you made. And then you have 2 mystery choices. Let's choose the right one. And you have mystery choice 2. The boy was feeling dizzy. So the story continues, but it becomes interactive because you can choose what happens next. So let's say I choose woke up, and that's it. The story ended. And it says, yay, thank you, you made it. Click here for a new ending. And it takes you back to the first slide. And you can play this game or see this story in different versions, thanks to those internal links. I'm going to show you another one just as a quick example. Here is choose your own vacation. And instead of having the links on text, it has them on objects, like they look like buttons. So click on continue to move forward. I click there and it goes forward. Where will you go this summer? Let's decide. Click on continue. Are you planning a vacation? Continue. And then what do you want to do, right? So you choose something and you get a slide related to that choice, right? Dependent on that choice. Continue, and do you like warm or cool? So you get to choose, and you have different paths that you can navigate, and see that ends. Click here to return at the start to try again. Okay, there was a, okay, there you go. So as you see, let's see how it looks in the film strip, or even better in the grid view. You can see I have all the slides consecutively, and I mean, they're not too interesting to look at like that. If we make it interactive, as like choose your own vacation, you can get these different pathways, right? In this like this is decision-making process or game even, right? So those are 2 examples on how you can use internal links to create a choose your own adventure presentation. Let's go to the next feature I want to show you. This, to be honest, it's very nerdy of me because I like Excel and sheets and spreadsheets. So I know it might be useful only for some people, like math teachers, but I think it's always useful to know these kind of advanced features. So if I go to insert, then chart, I get a list of options of graphs that I can insert onto Google Slides. So think about maybe sharing this with students, so you can learn about graphs. And the cool thing is that the action of me creating this graph here has actually created, as you can see here in this linked button. Remember the previous case with the linked slides? This is the same button. So this inserting this chart has actually created a Google Sheets spreadsheet that has the data that it's showing in the chart. So you don't even have to create the chart to create you don't have to create the Google Sheets spreadsheet to create the table, input the data, and then create the chart. You can just insert chart from Google Slides and then just modify the values, for example, right? This could be useful for math teachers also, or when you're looking at statistics or stuff like that. Also for, I'm thinking also for presenting maybe data about assessment for parents, like the data assessment, the assessment data for the whole classroom when talking with parents about their specific child. So that would be a good way of doing that. And you can choose from any of these 4 types, or you can also look into your Google Drive for a chart that you have already created. So if you want to do another type, you can do it the other way, creating a chart on Google Sheets and then importing it here via insert, again, chart, and then from Sheets, where you can look for that Sheets file. Okay. So next, and this is really neat, I'm gonna give away a secret because let's say I want to share this with people, students, teacher, parents, whatever, doesn't matter who, but I want them only to view this file in present mode, which is what I showed you right now. This is the present mode that I didn't click on the usual present button here in the slideshow button, because otherwise my screen sharing would be messed up. So let's say I want to share this file, but the audience, people who are meant to see it, I want them to see them only in slideshow mode. So there are a couple of ways I can do it. If this is for the public and it's not restricted to the people within my school domain, whatever comes after the in your email, I can go to File, Share, and Publish to Web. When I do this, I make my presentation available as a website, kind of, but in slideshow mode. So I can come here and modify the time, or the time between slides, because I want it to be in autoplay, let's say, and I want it to start as soon as the player loads, and then restart the slideshow after the last slide. This makes me think, for example, you could have a TV or a screen somewhere in your school that it's used for bulletin, for news, for sharing, stuff like that. So you could have this publish, like everything, you can make it on a Google Slides presentation. Then you publish it to web. You share the link with your IT person, and it will show this same presentation, but only in slideshow mode, and it would be like a video that you made, right? So I'm doing all the steps right now. I click publish, I get a confirmation button, and here you have the link. It's not the same as the one you have on your Google Chrome, okay? So this one, I can just Control-C or Command-C to copy, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like if I paste it. See, it appears as a presentation already, like on a slideshow. And it's like going forward on its own. Like I'm not moving it. I'm skipping the videos. So yeah, it's moving on its own. And that's one way where you can force the presentation or the slideshow view of your Google Slides file or presentation. If I want to stop this, like stop this link from being available, I can go here, publish content in settings, and click on stop publishing. That will invalidate this link. Yes. So why do we have to keep that in mind? Because sometimes the presentations we create are not suitable for parents, or maybe it has some information that we don't want to broadcast beyond our trusted school community, especially the one, like the portion of it that we can control, which is the ones like who has an email from the school. So as you know, all Google documents can be shared with your whole school. And in order to do that, how do you force presentation? Because this publish option here, publish to web, is with the public. Like you cannot restrict it to a certain audience. So to do that, and this is the secret I was telling you, I'm giving away. I just copied the link. Well, I'll just copy here the link of the share panel here, copy link, and I'll paste it here so you can see what I'm gonna do with it. There's a little trick. Make it bigger so you see. You see here this last slash. Anything that comes after it, replace it with %. Now, when you use this link, you will share a slideshow version of this file. See, I just loaded it and it's already on slideshow mode. So this way you can restrict who can see your Google Slides presentation. You don't have to publish it to the web, which you don't have control over, like it's a public link. But with this way, if you modify the link, anything after this last slash, replace it with the word %. If you do that, then the share options will still work. So if you share this file through your panel like this, where you could add everyone in your school or specific people, you can do that. It will still work. That restriction of access will still work if you use this little trick of replacing everything that's after the last slash with the word %. So yeah, that's it. What can we use it for? Well, I already shared the option for the slideshows as a bulletin screen or option in your school. So that would be one of the options where you can force %. Or also, for example, last webinar we were talking about Google Sites. This is also an option that can appear there. You can make you can force a Google Slides presentation to be shown on a Google Sites as a slideshow directly. So that's it. That's basically it, what I wanted to share with you regarding mastering Google Slides. And if you want to connect with me after this, or if you have any questions, you can follow me on Twitter, or you can also go to my website, jreb.me, where I'm sharing with you a couple of ways in which I can help you get smarter interactions with technology in education. So be sure to go over there. And from me, that's it. Don't forget to go to that website. It's pretty neat. I've recently opened it. And I have a membership active where you can get the summary for this webinar, and you also get to vote for the next month's topic. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found this useful, and see you on the next one.